Hello again, this is Jack Sheffield, Jack the exam guy. This is what I call a level 2 isometric. This is the fourth one in my course, and I'm using this also as advertisement. So you can reach me at 904-755-4111 or go to my website, jacktheexamguy.com, and view the full course if you're not a student already. That's jacktheexamguy.com. 904-755-4111 is my number. So you're not going to find other people that talk about this as a level 2, probably. It's sort of some nomenclature that I came up with myself. Basically, your really simple ones are level 1s. That's where you're just going to have like one line, and maybe a secondary line here going perpendicular, and then some fixtures. Now, in this situation, you've got fixtures on two different lines that are parallel to each other. So you're kind of going up to the next level. So I call that a level 2. Okay. So once again, you're going to, on your paper, you're going to write north up here, south down here. You can go ahead and write it on your paper. You're going to be able to do this on the exam. I'd go ahead and encourage you to do it just to keep yourself oriented. East over here and then west over here. Okay, and then when you do your isometric drawing, same thing, top right. Now you're not going to put the north up here, you're going to put the north over here, the south at the bottom left, the east at the bottom right, and the west at the top left up here on your paper. Okay, and then it's going to correspond. So the main thing, what you do, and it's always been, what I do is and I recommend you do as well, is I start with the largest drain lines first. And you do drain lines, then vent, then labeling. So don't do your venting as you go along. I think that's probably a bad idea. So anyway, so we go from north to south with our main line, north to south. Okay, this is north, remember, this is south. We're going north to south with this line right here. And then we are going to, this one goes from west to east, west to east. Okay, so we're going to go west to east with that main line right there. All right. And we have our little direction of flow that they're going to show us right there. Remember, we always show direction of flow when two drain lines meet. And then we have a urinal. Okay, we're going a little bit quicker on this one because this is the fourth isometric of the course. So you've learned a little bit now, and so we don't have to go through every single step. But it's a vertical line for your urinal. Your vertical in real life is vertical on your paper. So you go vertical in real life, vertical in real life, vertical here on your paper. You got a little direction of flow. You're coming back to the south. Remember, south is this way. Okay, north, south. So you're going back to the south with your urinal. Okay, you're showing a little direction of flow right here. Okay, and now we're gonna go with our water closets. Okay, remember, water closets are going from north to south. They are floor water closets, so you're not going to go up the wall. You're going to go horizontal, and these are going to go to the south. South this way. So follow your lines on your isometric paper. It says throw them in there. Now I've spaced these two a little bit far apart. Now I'm not doing the floor drain now. I'm just doing the floor water closets. All right, now I've spaced them a little bit. See, because these two are actually just a little bit further apart than these two. And you can kind of see that on my drawing. That's not critical, but spatial orientation does matter. So if you get an opportunity to make sure that you express the same type of spatial orientation on your drawing as you do, as there is on the plan view, then yeah, go ahead and do it. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and throw that floor drain in there. Remember, that floor drain's a little bit closer to this one. So I put it a little bit closer to this particular floor water closet. All right, trying to show that spatial orientation. And then we throw in our directions of flow. Everything's got to flow this way. And whenever two lines come together, we're going to put a direction of flow. All right, by the way, this urinal does not get a trap because this has been kind of new information that we got. It's actually not super new at this point. It came out in the December 23 exam. They changed this. So read those instructions when you get your when you get your exam. I want you to read those instructions because they'll tell you some things that you need to know. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and throw in our little our floor clean out. Okay, so we go up with our floor clean out. We can put a little line right there if we want to. Okay, it shows that little cap that we put on there. We're going to go, our floor drain gets a trap. So we make sure we put a trap on a floor drain. And we do our little, our verticals. Now we can do a vertical, and this, you don't have to do all this in the exact same order that I'm doing it, but whatever's comfortable for you to make sure that you're doing this systematically. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're stubbing up our floor drain. I like floor drains circular. You can do it, follow the lines. If you want to do a square box, that's fine too. You come up out of the floor, make sure you stub it out. Okay, or else you pour concrete here, you won't be able to find it. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing with the water closets. Okay, you're going to come up. Now the water closets have an internal trap, so we don't have to trap them. We put our direction of flow. Okay, and then we come over here and we see our wall clean out. Now our wall clean out hooks in the same place that this floor water closet does. So we got to position it so that when we do our direction of flow, they all come together. So we put a little vertical here for our wall clean out, because it's a wall clean out, so it's got to come up the wall. It's got to go vertical. And then we connect it with our direction of flow. We connect it right here at the same spot as the floor water closet. And then now listen, this is going north. Okay, it cleans out to the north, so we go to the north, which north is that way on our paper. And then we put our little direction of flow in there, and then we cap it off a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. All right. And so now we're going to go down to this line here. Remember, this line is parallel here. This line and this line are parallel. So this line and this line are parallel, right? Okay, great. And we come down now. We want to end up where it looks like this lav is across from this floor drain. So you it's a little bit hard to figure that out. And at one point, I actually worked backwards and, from our lavs and then down, but that's kind of hard to do if you're not really used to isometrics. So we'll just do the best we can, see if we ended up in the right spot. So we come down, a ways, come down about, 2/3 of the way or whatever. Okay. With our line, and now it's going from west to east. So in our paper, west is up here, east is down here. West to east on our paper, follow those lines. Okay, except for when we do something like direction of flow here, we're showing this little direction of flow that they show. Okay, and then we're going to come, this is going to go just a little ways this way. All right, little ways. That's actually, it's actually northeast, and northeast is actually horizontal going that way. East is down here, north is up there. So horizontal this way is northeast. We'll talk more about that later. It's not that critical right here. It's just a little old piece of line there. All right, and then we're going to go north. That line goes north right there. It goes north. And then you got your little circle there. That means vertical. Okay, vent to the roof. The little circle means vertical with, with your line there. And that's where the vent's going to go. So that's, that's where you're going to go vertical. So we go vertical. That's right there. Okay. We go vertical, and then we're going to have to go east and west with our lavs, because we got to go east with west with one and east with the other. So we got a little west and an east, and then we're going to have to go north. Both of these go north into the room. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and do our directions of flow and our little traps. There you go. All right, not a big deal. Only thing it looks like we are leading out is our wall clean out. So we are going to go, our wall clean out goes north. It goes to the north. So we need to send ours to the north. And then we do our little direction of flow, and then we kept that baby off. And by the way, at some point I went ahead and did these little caps on the water closets, and I did a little cap on the urinal. That's fine. Anyway, I don't think it's all that critical whether you have those or not. Okay. And then we're going to do the venting. Remember, you do all your lines first. Let's check all of our lines, make sure we've got everything we've got our water closets for it. Come up out of, we've got come up out of the floor here. We've got our clean out going to the, well, up the wall. We have our clean out here coming up out of the floor. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and start our venting. Now this goes to the roof from right here. So from our vertical that we came up with our clean out, we're going to go to the roof. All right. And this one's going to go vertical here. They're all going to go vertical along here because that's what vents do, right? They go vertical up the wall. All right. And then we're going to connect them this way. Remember, this line, this waste line, and this vent line are perpendicular, excuse me, they're parallel. So you want them parallel on your paper. Okay. And so there you go. That vent line is parallel to that waste line right there. And then we hook up our verticals. It tells us with this little circle and this little line, it tells us we're going vent, 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 vent. The only thing that didn't get vented was the floor drain. So there we go. Okay, that looks good. And then we came down here. This vents to the roof as well. So we just go vent to the roof. All right, cool. Well, that's all of our venting. So hey, all we have to do now is our labeling. Once again, I'd like for you to do all of your waste lines first, all your drain lines, all of your venting, and then all of your labeling. And that's because if you do make a mistake, you haven't done all that venting and labeling that you have to erase. And so anyway, so here we go. And then we just label it all. We got our floor clean out, our urinal, floor water closets, floor drain, wall clean out. We do our little fancy little, this represents a boot for the roof. We do that. We have another boot here, labs. We label our floor clean out and our two building drain. That's a pretty good drawing right there. And I got to tell you, if I was taking this exam, I'd be able to do this one in my sleep. Yeah, you're going to want to really be able to nail this one. All right, this has been Jack Sheffield, Jack the Exam Guy. If you would like this entire course, and also I offer the course for the manuals where I take you through the manuals as well. You can go to my website, jacktheexamguy.com. And remember, don't ever let anybody tell you you don't know Jack.